Hello friends, myself J. Girnar from R.C. Patel Institute of Pharmacy, Shirpur. Today we are going to see some terms which are related with our electrolytes. Okay, so which these parts covered in your pharmaceutical chemistry 1, major intra and extracellular electrolyte chapter. So before going to directly to the terms, we will see some introductory points regarding this chapter. So in that first, the electrolytes are present in your body are classified into two different compartments. Okay, so body fluid compartments can be classified as you can see here, that is intracellular fluids and extracellular fluids. As the name suggests, intracellular fluids, the fluid present inside the cell called as the intracellular body fluid. Example, that is cytoplasm is present in our cell. Okay, so it is nothing but your intracellular fluid. Opposite to that is extracellular fluid, means the fluid which is present outside the cell. Okay, it's called as extracellular fluid. Make it clear, it's not outside from our body, it's only outside from the cell. Okay, so again extracellular fluid is classified into different subtypes. First is the interstitial or intercellular fluid, that is nothing but the fluid which is present between two cells. Okay, it is called as interstitial or intracellular fluid also you can say here. And second one, that is the plasma fluid. It is nothing but the fluid which is present in the blood vascular system. Okay, so these both, that is interstitial and plasma, are nothing but the extracellular fluids. Okay, simply we can again summarize this point with this chart. Okay, so electrolytes you can see here, there is two class, extracellular and intracellular. Extracellular again classified into the two different subclass, that is interstitial and or you can say the intercellular, and second one is the plasma fluid. Okay, now we have to focus on the electrolytes, so that we have discussed this point. So what exactly mean by the intracellular electrolytes? So the cations and anions having more concentration inside the cell fluid, that is nothing but the cytoplasm, or you can say the cations and anions having more concentration in intracellular fluid is called, you can say that particular electrolyte is known as the intracellular electrolyte. And opposite to that is the extracellular electrolytes, means the electrolytes which are present outside the cells. So the cations and anions having more concentration in extracellular fluid called as extracellular electrolytes, means you can say here, that is the electrolytes which are present in your blood plasma system or other than cell cytoplasm. Okay, so these are the two different class of electrolyte you can say as per their location. Now we have to see some important concentrations of different electrolytes. As we all know, many more electrolytes are present in our body. They are playing very vital role for many more activities, but we are focusing only some electrolytes. Okay, so in that first we will see the extracellular electrolytes. The unit for the electrolytes to measure in our body fluids is the milliequivalents per liter, you can find here. Okay, so in case of extracellular electrolytes, the cation, that is sodium, having the concentration 142 milliequivalents per liter, and calcium having the concentration 4 milliequivalents per liter. In same category, extracellular electrolytes, in that anions, okay, chlorides are there at the concentration 103 milliequivalents per liter, and bicarbonates at the concentration 28 milliequivalents per liter. So these are all four different electrolytes which are present outside the cell, so they are known as the extracellular electrolytes. And opposite to that, some electrolytes which are present in our cell, you can say they are present in cytoplasm. So the examples for the intracellular electrolytes, that is potassium having concentration 140 milliequivalents per liter, and the magnesium with the concentration 58 milliequivalents per liter. In case of the intracellular anions, that is sulfate having concentration 2 milliequivalents per liter, and phosphate having concentration 75 milliequivalents per liter. These are the major electrolytes, means you can say they are playing very important role in different activities in your body. So that's why just we are focusing on these all electrolytes. So we will see each and every electrolyte, only the functions and terms which are related with that electrolyte that we have to cover in this video. So first electrolyte, sodium, just we have discussed before, it comes in extracellular category and it's a cation. So function of sodium, it is very important cation, you can say that, in extracellular compartment, and it is combined with bicarbonate as well as chloride also, and it maintains the acid-base balance. Okay, by combining with bicarbonate it becomes sodium bicarbonate, by combining with chloride it becomes sodium chloride, and these both forms are very important to maintain the physiological acid-base balance, to maintain the pH of different body fluids, we can say here. Second function of sodium ion, it maintains the osmotic pressure of our of various body fluids. Okay, it is, you can say, it's isotonic, as we all know 0.9% sodium chloride solution is isotonic with our body fluids. So in our body also, if you want to maintain the osmotic pressure for different body fluid, it is very important, sodium ions. Okay, and third one, that is, it is useful for the elasticity of muscles and permeability of cell. Okay, to maintain the elasticity and to maintain the permeability of cells, sodium ion plays very important. Some terms which are related with the sodium means when there is a high concentration of sodium, what will happen, what will it is called, and when there is a low concentration. So in case of high concentration, in case of first we will see the low concentration, that is the hyponatremia. If there is a low serum level of sodium, is called as hyponatremia. Opposite to that, when there is a high level of sodium, that is, if there is a high serum level of sodium, it is known as the hypernatremia. Okay, so these are the functions and different terms which are related with the sodium. Next cation we have to see, that is calcium. It is very useful for the normal functioning of our autonomous nervous system, then for the cardiac function, for the proper activity of heart, you can say here. It is also important for the coagulation of blood, and it is useful for the formation of bone and tissues. It's a very well known use of calcium in our body. Okay, again there are some terms which are related with the calcium. Means first one we will see hypocalcemia, that is when there is a deficiency of calcium in blood, is known as the hypocalcemia. And opposite to that, hypercalcemia. As we all know, hypo and hyper, both words, hypo suggests the low level and hyper suggests the high level. So in case of hypercalcemia, when there is a high level of calcium in blood, is called as the hypercalcemia. Okay, so these are the different functions as well as terms which are related with the calcium cation. Next, in case of the same, that is extracellular, but we are now going to see the anions, that is having the negative charge. So chloride we have to see here. Function of chloride, it is, you can say simply, it shows its action with the sodium ion. Okay, it combines with the sodium ion, that is, it becomes sodium chloride, and so again it is useful to maintain the osmotic pressure. Okay, as well as isotonicity also, you can say that, and it is involved in the formation of gastric hydrochloric acid, which is present in your stomach. It is useful for the digestion. Okay, so for that purpose also chloride ions are used to prepare the hydrochloric acid in your stomach. And generally there is a no deficiency of chloride, so you cannot say hypochloremia and all that things. Okay, but if it occurs, okay, it is known as the hypochloremic alkalosis. It occurs very rarely. Okay, it is not normal thing, but when there is a low level of chloride, it is known as the hypochloremic alkalosis. So this is the function and you can say the terms. And the last, in case of the extracellular, last an ion, that is bicarbonates ion. So function of that, it act as a buffer to maintain the pH of blood. Okay, we have seen it in the physiological acid base buffer. So bicarbonates are useful to maintain the pH of blood also. Okay, and if there is an excess of bicarbonate, as we all know, bicarbonates are basic in nature. So if the bicarbonate level is more, so it produces the basic condition, and it is known as the metabolic alkalosis. And indeficiency means when there is a low level of bicarbonate, it causes the metabolic acidosis. Okay, so these are the different terms which are related with extracellular cations as well as anion. Now we are moving for the intracellular. In case of intracellular, as we all know, it present inside the cell. So first cation in intracellular category, that is potassium. So function of potassium, it is major intracellular cation. It is important in muscle activity, mainly in the cardiac muscle. Okay, like the calcium, potassium is also useful for the proper maintaining of your heart activity, you can say here. So for the cardiac muscle it is important. And second function of potassium, it maintains the osmotic pressure, acid base balance of intracellular fluid, means the cytoplasm. Like the sodium also maintains, but it maintains outside, and potassium makes the inside. Same function, it also maintains osmotic pressure as well as acid base balance, but potassium, it is useful for the same activity but inside the cell, that is in the cytoplasm. Next, that is the condition when there is a low level of potassium. Okay, if level of serum potassium is less, it is known as the hypokalemia. And when serum level of potassium is higher than the normal level, it is called as the hyperkalemia. Okay, make it clear. It's not the hypopotassemia, and it's not the simply the hypo. It's not the simply you cannot say the hypo or hyperpotassemia. Okay. Now the next we have to see in the same, that is intracellular cation. Simply that is the magnesium. So we have to see the function of magnesium here. So it is involved in phosphate transfer as well as neuronal transmission. Next that it is the useful in the constituent of teeth as well as bone, means same function like the calcium. And next last function for magnesium, that is it is essential for protein synthesis also. Okay. Generally there is no, means you cannot say these are the terms which are related with the magnesium, that is hypo and hypermagnesemia. Okay, and it's a very rare condition, so we are not going to discuss that terms. Finally, direct we are moving for the next anion in the category, that is the intracellular, that is phosphate. Okay, so the function of phosphate, it is useful for the strengthening of bones as well as teeth. Again, same function like your calcium. It is useful in case of pregnancy and for the lactating woman because it is required for the nutrition. Okay, so phosphate is useful for the pregnant as well as lactating woman, and it serves as a buffer in the form of H2PO4 and HPO4, that is dihydrogen phosphate and monohydrogen phosphate. You can say that for the body fluids, means it maintains the pH of different body fluids by acting as a buffer. Okay, so monohydrogen phosphate, that is HPO4, it is a constituent of that buffer. Okay, so you can say here phosphate is useful to maintain the pH, or it is useful, it is used as a buffer. Okay, and last use, it is useful for the phosphorylation, in which the organic compounds converts into the phosphate esters. Okay, these are different uses, or you can say the function of this phosphate anion. Again, no conditions we are going to discuss for the same. And last, that is the sulfate anion. It again come in the same, that is intracellular category. And the function of sulfate, that is sulfate ions, are very important for the detoxification of phenols and other compounds. And last thing, that is it is also useful in the formation of the cartilage in our body. Okay, so these are the different major cations as well as anions just we have discussed in the both you can say the different intra as well as extracellular compartment. Among that all, just we can recall, that is the sodium. Just we will revise the condition, that is sodium, that is hyper and hyponatremia, as well as calcium, that is hypo and hypercalcemia, and the potassium, that is hypo and hyperkalemia. Okay, these three anions, just sorry, you can say these three different electrolytes, okay, are very important among these all. Okay, so these are the different uses as well as terms which are related with the major cations and anions which are present in both compartments, that is intracellular as well as extracellular body fluids. Thank you very much.